Hello, my divining friends out there in Cyberland, Cyberlandia. This is video number 4 in the first Let's Do a Grand Tableau Together series. And today we are going to look at clusters. Yes, we're going to play with our clusters, and you don't need any male body parts to play along. So, I hope the sound quality is better with my new phone and my new microphone. And we are just going to dive right into this. What are clusters? If you have my Grand Tableau book, this is it. For those of you who don't have it, have never seen it, didn't know about it. In that book, I wrote that clusters are groups of cards that are connected by a particular theme, such as work or health. Now, when the cards of a cluster are grouped together, we call that a constellation. And if you read tarot, you may give special meaning to certain cards when they appear together. And that is similar to Lenormand clusters. Now, what we can say for certain is that when the cards of a cluster form a constellation, their meanings are strengthened. Now, the beauty of the method of distance system is that there are so many ways to cross-reference your interpretations rather than just banking on a single card. And the best example of this is the love cluster of the ring, the heart, and the anchor. So rather than basing an interpretation only on the heart, we now have 3 cards to look at to give us a more complete and accurate account of what's going on. So if somebody came to you and they are hoping for a proposal soon, and this cluster formed a constellation near their card, and there were no negating cards touching those cards, and the rest of the spread looked favorable regarding the relationship, then we can confidently say, yes, it looks like you are going to get a proposal within the time period of this spread. Now, you'll find a complete explanation of the clusters in my Grand Tableau book, but for those of you who don't have it yet, I'm going to list the clusters right now, and then you can look for them in the spread and let me know if you see something that I am missing. Now, the traditional clusters consist of the gang of adversaries, that's the snake, fox, mountain, and mice. The interpersonal cluster is the child, the dog, and the garden. The celestial cluster is the stars, the sun, and the moon. The financial cluster is the fish, the ship, and the anchor. The travel cluster is the ship and the birds. The health cluster is the tree, the coffin, the whip, and the tower. The love cluster is the heart, the ring, and the anchor. And the providence cluster is the child, the lily, and the bouquet. Now, there's also a work cluster, which isn't much of a cluster at all. It's just the seeker's card and your chosen work card. For now, let's see what the clusters are going to add to Adam's reading. Okay, the first thing I notice is the gang of adversaries. Now, Adam only has the mice in his comfort zone, which is good. Now, this is the cluster that brings misfortune and adversity, so we want to see these cards well dispersed. Now, keep in mind that the mice card in the comfort zone offers the benefit of a possible recovery of something that is lost or missing or lacking, but it still brings worries and regrets. There's always going to be a mess to clean up when you're dealing with mice. But look at Eve, the fiance. She has the mice. They share the mice, right? So she has the mice and the mountain both touching her card, and the fox and the snake are just below her cards. So the gang is forming a constellation right under her, and it's impacting Adam's bottom line. So while the gang isn't a direct threat to Adam at this time, because it's not in his comfort zone, the cards are not dispersed, and they are threatening his bottom line, which offers an important message regarding the entire spread. Now, the snake brings personal complexities and uneasiness. It's more personal than the fox card. That's why you very often see the fox showing up to warn that there's something wrong in a business, reading. And the snake is more of a personal card, right? And you'll see that more like in relationship readings showing up, rearing its ugly head. So the snake, like I said, it brings personal complexities and uneasiness. The fox says that there's something wrong. The mountain shows a barrier to a goal. The mice indicates anxiety due to some sort of loss or lack. So these are too close for comfort, to each other, okay? And they are, as I said, impacting his bottom line. Now, the celestial cluster is scattered, and that's one that you really want to see in the comfort zone. You want to see it near the seeker, specifically, or, preferably rather above, shining on him, that kind of thing. But so it is scattered and far from Adam. But I do want to point out that the sun is touching two of the botanical cards, the garden and the clover, thus making them grow, right? It's giving them energy. It's making them grow. Okay? Yes. So what do the far positions of these cards say? Well, the moon, when it's out of reach, here it is here, can show a lack of respect. It's disrespect, right? Or lack of recognition. The sun, far, here's the sun, can show a lack of enthusiasm, determination, or bravery. The stars is the guidance card that tells you the right way to go. And when it's out of reach, we can say that the seeker is trying to go it alone. He's not connecting to source. So he's doing things the hard way. And it does show a lack of hope, too. Now, the financial cluster forms a tight constellation, right? Here it is here, the fish, the ship, and the anchor. That's a nice tight constellation, but it's out of his reach. So it's showing that he has no control over it during the 4-month time period. Now, if Adam asks if there'll be any travel in the next 4 months, we can tell him no. So remember the travel cluster? I just said it was the ship and the birds. Now, the birds is in his comfort zone. The ship is far. But if you read in the book, it'll tell you that the ship needs to be near and the birds need to be far to show travel. So we can tell Adam that it doesn't look like there will be any travel for him in the next 4 months. No adventures. Now, Adam didn't want any physical health information, but we can see that he has the tree along with the whip in his comfort zone. Now, the coffin is far, which is good, but the tower is far, which is bad. All right. So this grouping tells me that he'll probably experience some repeated minor health issues, such as maybe headaches or indigestion during the period, probably due to stress, right? He's got, stress. All right. Now, we're going to look at the love cluster, which I know many of you have been waiting for. And here's the ring way over here. So it's trying to roll off the spread, trying to get as far away from him as it can. And that is the card of commitment. The anchor is also very far. And it's the card of security, faithfulness, and steadfastness, as in the hope of a successful continuation of the relationship. And the only card he has near is the heart. Here's the heart here. Which is the card of what we desire, as well as love, passion, and joy. And I'm only seeing it representing desire here. So what do you think? Did the clusters add anything to the reading? Now, I mentioned some near and far meanings in this video, and that's exactly what we're going to go over more closely in the next video. And but that's it for today's video. So what I want you to do is look up the clusters in the book, or just, review the video and get that list, write down that list of what the clusters are, and look for them in here and get to know them, get comfortable with them. And also let me know if you see something different, right? Okay, so that's it for today. Now go play with your clusters. Bye, everybody.